Isn't that fascinating? Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, Rosalie. Welcome to the Ultimate Music and Psychology channel. We are going all around the world exploring music and encouragement and education, and I'm excited that you're here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new, and if you're not new, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. We are headed to a brand new place today, Madagascar. We have not been there. I don't think I've listened to any music from Madagascar on this channel yet. Check out my playlist if you want to see music from all around the world, different countries and continents. They're labeled by countries, but we're going to check out Madagascar today. Shout out today goes to Kai Strosha, who suggested I check out an artist named Salala and a song named Lanitra Manga. I've never heard of it. I'm going to check it out. I saw that this is supposedly the most popular song from Madagascar. So we're going to listen and check it out. The language is closer to Indonesian or Malay, according to Kai's information. So let's check it out and listen and see what we can find.
Lanitra manga mango sarumantu ni rauna funina ni ulumasine aizan timbawani riana Lanitra manga mango sarumantu ni rauna Funenani ulumasine aizan timbawani riana Nadiadi natafaine Azambata witsuuniwa
I love the switch from harmonies to unison. It creates a beautiful crescendo, awesome dynamics, clear vocals, great vocal control. The bass, I love me a good bass when it comes to a cappella. And you can really hear that rich, full texture, those notes of that lower bass, as well as the tenors and the various chords or notes that are being sung here that so beautifully complement one another. To me, harmony and unison when it comes to music, psychologically even, is so beautiful because it's such a great connection or such a beautiful reflection on the way that the world works, nature, the ecosystem, us human beings in relationship, right? There's seasons where we are headed the same direction, where we sing the same notes, where we work in unison, be it in relationship, be it when we're cooperating when it comes to the economy, right? Exchange, demand, supply. There's a flow of things between humans, between animals, between nature. We're part of that system, the way that the trees and fungi communicate through a network underground. There's so many details, such beauty to this world that you can find a reflection of that even in music. Music being divine, where you can see notes that are being sung in unison that so well reflect the state of the world. But then we also have harmonies where different notes are sung and complement one another, but still work together to create a beautiful sound. And to me, it's the same when we look at, again, human relationships, nature, the ecosystem. When things flow, you won't always have the same notes sung. When people work in relationship, it's not always going to be the same direction or the same things that are being said. But if we learn to complement one another, we can create a beautiful symphony. Let's keep listening. We'll talk about the lyrics in a second. I found a translation. It looks like the language is referred to as Malagasy. I hope I'm saying that right. And that is an African language, or Malay, I guess Kai mentioned. And we'll talk about what it means. So for now, if you don't understand the language, I don't. Let's just savor it and enjoy the music.
Nisisa lompanirina riana na isao na yana madalu fapivahini.
That vibrato, beautiful. The way that he lingers on the notes. The unison here. Wow. The high notes. Do you hear how those high notes so beautifully complement that low bass? The bass to me carries it. It creates this depth and texture. But if it was just the bass, it would not sound this diverse and this full. And the same goes vice versa. If we just had the tenor and all the high notes being hit, but we didn't have that foundation, it's just a beautiful picture painted. Again, when I look at these pictures of this beautiful country, when I look at people, when I look at nature or different countries and cultures, you have various parts, they all come together as a whole. The same goes for you. I don't know if you are someone who that views yourself as more of the low notes, right? You lay the foundation, you come in with this level of strength and depth, or you're someone who paints and is artistic, someone who fills in the high notes and creates a level of spontaneity and adventure and adds certain bright colors, right? To me, this is subjective to a degree, but I picture some of these low notes, the strong colors, the dark blues and dark purples and dark blues, right? Something that creates a certain level of contrast and depth to paintings. And I view the higher notes as the light colors, the bright, the yellows, the oranges, the golds, the white, the touches that bring in vibrancy, that bring in a different form of contrast. We all operate in different ways. We have different personalities, and all of us have a different role to play, but we're all necessary to make this beautiful masterpiece.
Tsy misy onineto Kaoka mba hifamela ry anona Raha sendra ka velontsento Ny laoza ny avaty anao Tombondalana reny azy Isika za mbola ho any ry anona
Wow.
Senda ka velontsento Ilauzani avantiana Tumbundalana reny azy Isika za mbola ho any ry anona Ry Lanitra mangamanga Saromantso ny rahona Funena ny olo masine Aiza no simba ho any ry anona
Wow. That was beautiful. Oh my goodness. You know, when I'm doing these reviews, a big focus of mine is to pay attention to detail and to make sure I capture interesting facts for you so I can make these videos interesting and educational. But every so often I have to remind myself to allow myself to get lost in the music, just to feel it. And to me, the sounds here were soothing. These various, dare I say, colors and shades of notes that were coming together in unison and harmony, it was soothing to me. Now, this is subjective to a degree, right? There's a lot of psychology behind music, not only lyrics, but also their various notes, minor versus major notes, instrumentation that is integrated into songs that impact us differently. And there's a world of psychology. I mean, think about it this way. Music is math, but also our entire existence, the way that we are kept alive is through rhythm. And there is a melody to our organism. Our heart beats rhythmically, or supposed to, in order to pump the blood and to keep us going, right? The neurons in our brain that are firing and connecting, that send signals that inform our body what to do and how to move and what to say, right? The way that we process information, the way our body responds when one part of our body is injured. It's just phenomenal. It's amazing. And it makes me think of Nightwish's song, or the lyric in Nightwish's song, The Greatest Show on Earth, the lyric that says, we are here, and we were here. And this idea of we're alive, we are here, we get to leave a mark, is so beautiful because we're such intricate human beings. This world is so beautifully created. It's crazy how intricate it is. And so just letting myself get lost for a moment, feeling this, for me personally, it brought a level of soothing and comfort psychologically. That doesn't mean it's the case for everyone, right? Depending on what you've been through, different notes and different sounds will trigger you in a different way, right? Some people have experienced certain levels of trauma where certain fragrances, certain sounds, certain textures, they trigger negative responses, where the other may feel pleasant or comforted or soothed, right? So it's not all one size fits all situation. So tell me in the comments, how did it make you feel? You're welcome to rewind right now if you like. Listen through some of those verses, even if you don't understand them, and tell me, how does it make you feel? Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and feel the music for a second, and then comment below and tell me, well, how did that affect you? The lyrics are beautiful. It says, "Oh, beautiful sky," and I hope the translation I found is accurate. Let me know in the comments. "Oh, beautiful sky, it is covered by clouds, home of saints." So who doesn't want to go there? I'm assuming it's referring to Madagascar. A beautiful sky covered by clouds, home of saints. Who doesn't want to go there? The battle that took place in the past. Please don't do it again. Leaves are falling. The rest is what you want. And then it repeats that either you or me, we're passing by as a pilgrim. No one will live here, so let's talk about each other. I'm not sure if it's meant to say, let's talk to one another, let's talk about each other. I'm not sure if this is referring to, I doubt personally, but I could be wrong. It's referring to let's talk about each other as in a sense of gossip. I think more so perhaps either let's communicate and speak to one another, or perhaps it means let's talk about each other as in let's carry on that legacy, right? We're all pilgrims, we're passing through. Very poetic and beautiful to consider the sky, to look at the clouds, to now home of saints. Is that referring to heaven? Since we're referring to the sky here, or is this a reference to Madagascar, this beautiful country, right? Look up at the sky. This is the home of saints, right? This land. Who doesn't want to go there? Again, talking about heaven, right? Who wouldn't want to go to heaven? Who wouldn't want to go up into the sky? Or speaking of the land, it speaks of the battle that took place. Could this be a reference to wars and battles that were fought within Madagascar? Or is this more a spiritual matter since we're speaking of heaven and we're speaking of going to that place? Leaves are falling, the rest is what you want. Either you or me passing by as pilgrims. A lot of the lyrics here to me have this double entendre. There's references here that to me could sound patriotic to a degree, a reference to a beautiful land. Who wouldn't want to go there? Considering ourselves pilgrims in this land, talking about one another in the sense of leaving a legacy, reflecting on one another, right? It brings a level of togetherness. Or is this more a spiritual matter, speaking of heaven? Because those who believe in a heaven, those who believe in going home after death, they will consider themselves pilgrims passing through this earth, right? This life being temporary, us being visitors here. If you happen to be alive, abandoned by charity, his is a huge advantage. We're still going there. Interesting. If you're alive, abandoned by charity, meaning you're poor, perhaps you're experiencing poverty, charity has abandoned you, right? There's such a person, they have a huge advantage. We're still going there. To me, this sounds very spiritual. This idea, perhaps, of maybe even something that reminds me of the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus, who speaks of, blessed are the poor in spirit, theirs will be the kingdom of heaven. Maybe a song that reflects on or is meant to bring comfort to those who are struggling here on earth, who have not experienced charity, who are alive and who are now being reminded, hey, you have an advantage. You're going to heaven. Like, hang in there. Oh, blue sky covered by clouds, home of the saints. Thank you very much. That seems to be perhaps the end of those lyrics. I'm not sure if that's part of the song. Interesting. So in my mind, I thought, well, this is a really big song coming out of Madagascar, this beautiful island, not just, the name of some animation movie, but an actual beautiful gem and an island. And I'll share some interesting facts in just a second. At first, I thought it was perhaps a song, a nod to that beautiful land. However, it sounds to me much more like a song about heaven, about going home. And thinking about it now, it makes me also think of the spirituals and the gospels, and songs that were created by slaves during slavery, in suffering and in pain. A song about a better place, right? A song that's heaven focused, upward focused. A song that's meant to bring comfort to those who are suffering down here, who are not experiencing charity. A reminder that, hey, we're going somewhere else. Look up, lift up your gaze. Sa'na ilheharim me'ain yavo ezri me'im Hashem ose shamayim va'aretz. This Psalm 121 that says, I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And then the psalm goes on to speak, he doesn't slumber or sleep. It's this idea of look up, right? In that psalm's case, I lift my eyes to the hills, right? I look at the earth. Where is my help coming from? Here in this song, perhaps this idea of look at the sky, right? Look up. There's something to be said about hymns, psalms, spirituals, gospels that want to turn the singer or the listener their gaze towards something beyond themselves. There's comfort in that psychologically, right? There's many who don't believe in that. Many of you viewers who may be atheists who don't believe in an afterlife or in God for that matter. But many, many people, regardless of the specific religion, are finding comfort in this idea of looking up. And frankly, there is even psychologically, let's take spirituality out of it for a second and the comfort that faith and spirituality bring. Let's look at it psychologically, physically, right? It's all connected. We're holistic beings, body, mind, and spirit. When I change my thinking and I start focusing on something else, my feelings follow and it affects my body. I start feeling different. My body posture changes. When I look up in a season of sadness and grief, often we're prone to look down. Our body language changes, our shoulders droop. Maybe in a season of anger or pain, our bodies tense up. We look down. We may look on the floor if there's shame, right? Depending on what we're feeling, our body posture changes. Very rarely would I say you have someone who's really grieving or really in a lot of pain who's walking with their head held high and a smile on their face, right? We would not correlate that to sadness and grief. But there's something that happens when we adjust our body posture, even if we don't feel like it, and we look up. There's something comforting about looking around you and pondering something that's beyond just your peripheral view, something that's beyond just what's beneath you, right? When you're somewhere really, really high and you're afraid, they say, don't look down, right? There's something to be said about looking ahead or looking up. It reminds us of how vast the world around us is, that there's so much more than what we see right in front of us. And so physically adjusting with our bodies, somatically or soma, to what's around and adjusting our body language has an impact on our mind and on what we see. And what we see now affects what we're thinking about. And in turn, our thinking affects our feeling, right? We might start looking up and going, wait a minute, maybe I'm not doomed. Maybe this is not the worst day in the world. The sky is so pretty. The sunrise looks pretty, right? We see something around us that we now want to touch or smell or taste. That in itself is very therapeutic. So even if you're not someone of faith who believes in heaven or finds comfort in the idea of going home and being a pilgrim passing through, consider the psychological positive effect it has to look up at the sky and to ponder life around you. Madagascar is the world's fourth largest island. Did you know? And I didn't. It is home to 70 species of lemurs found nowhere else on Earth. Isn't that amazing? It's so crazy how we get caught up in our day-to-day life, not thinking we know all. I think most people will admit they don't know everything, but we feel like we know quite a bit. We feel like, we got a good grip on life. And then you hear these facts and it's like, I had no idea. There's a whole big world out there. More than 50% of the world's chameleon population is found on Madagascar. And what else? Just a couple of fun facts. Deforestation is a severe problem there. The Malagasis, I didn't know that's what people from Madagascar were referred to as. Learned something new. They have closer roots to Southeast Asians than Africans. Very interesting. Madagascar is separated from the mainland of Africa by the narrow Mozambique Channel, but it's still a world away. They're a descendant from Indo-Malayan seafarers who arrived here on the Indian Ocean trade route over 2,000 years ago. Even today, their cultural similarity to Southeast Asians is obvious. Staple food is rice. Their language traces back to Asian roots. And when talking to Malagasy, be sure to remember they do not like to be referred to as Africans. They're simply Malagasy people. Isn't that fascinating? And I know I'm all over the place with, just where this information and this song is taking me. But it's just such a reminder, especially for us in the West, that it is not all a matter of black and white. Contrarily, when you look at a color palette of brown, all of our shades can be found. Black and white are scientifically not even colors. So to try to categorize people, especially what you find in America and in the West, is quite frankly ignorant. There's a whole colorful world out there, and it's not all the same. Africa is not a country; it's a continent. Multiple countries within that, and people would not want their country, their culture, their heritage, part of their identity to be just dismissed. Oh, you're just African, or you're just white, or you're just black, right? It's ignorant. So here, even for me, it's just such a reminder. Malagasy people want to be seen as such and not just be grouped in with anyone and everything. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Absolutely cool. That song was beautiful. It was soothing to me. I loved the harmonies. I love the parallels there between unison and harmonies, as I mentioned in the beginning. That's me. Your turn. How did it make you feel? Like I said, rewind if you need, close your eyes, take it in, and tell me what this makes you think. I will see you on the next ride. Make sure to subscribe. Ayo! Ayo!